All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. We're excited for the start of the 2025-26 basketball season, which for the Milwaukee women's basketball team will start a week from today at home against Loyola Chicago. Other non-conference schedule highlights will include playing Wisconsin on November 10th out in Madison, right here back at the Klotchie Center on November 19th against Marquette, and then the team will also take part in the Tiger Tip-Off, let me get that right, Tiger Turkey Tip-Off Classic over Thanksgiving weekend at University of Pacific out in Stockton, California. We're joined today by head coach Kyle Recklitz, who is entering her 14th season in that role. This year, Coach Recklitz and her staff have assembled a roster of 15 players, including 8 from the state of Wisconsin, and we're joined by 2 of those Wisconsinites today. First, to my immediate left, we have senior guard Grace Lohman. Grace is back for her second year with the program after transferring from Parkside. Grace is from East Troy, Wisconsin, and played basketball at Catholic Memorial High School in Waukesha. And she's the team's lone senior on the roster and saw time in 22 games a season ago. Also joining us on my far left is redshirt sophomore Peyton Recklitz. Peyton is in her 3rd season with the program and made a major impact in her first season on the court a year ago. She played in all 32 games with starts in 32 contests and was selected to the Horizon League All-Freshman team following the regular season. Like Grace, Peyton is from Wisconsin, coming from Menominee Falls and playing at Menominee Falls High School. We'll begin with an opening statement from Coach Recklitz and then open up the floor for questions for Coach and the student athletes.
Thank you so much for being here today. Obviously, this is a big day for both our women's basketball program and our men's basketball program. We are 1 week out from starting our seasons, and the excitement and the energy here at the Klotchie Center and on campus is really exciting. So I'll start off kind of by recapping last year. If I'm going to be honest, last year was a bit of a disappointment for our program. We aren't used to losing, and we lost a lot of close games. And so we entered this off season with a very different and very intentional mentality of building a roster of toughness and building a roster of players that were kind of committed to what our culture would stand for. And I think we really achieved that as a staff. We also brought in some new staff members that could kind of elevate the program, and I think that we did that as well. So I'm very excited going into the season. We have a young roster when you look at it from a numbers perspective, but we have actually redshirted a lot of those young players, and so there's a lot of maturity within our top group. Our 6 to 7, kind of core group has played here in the past and played some pretty heavy minutes with us. And so when you look at our starting group and look at some of that core group, they really know how to play together. They know how to move the ball. And we're seeing a lot more what I would call basketball plays than I've seen in a long time. The ball is really moving from one side of the court to the other. We've also added some depth at some shooting positions. We really wanted to extend the floor a little bit. In our exhibition game against DePaul, we went 9 for 16 from the three-point line. And that's something I think will be pretty regular, is that we'll be hitting close to that 10 threes, if not a little bit more, game to game. And then we have some really great leadership. Both Grace and Peyton are on our leadership team, along with Jada Williams and Jory Buwalda. And again, that's some of that maturity and some of that, kind of depth from previous seasons where they can really kind of teach the younger players the standard of our culture. So we're excited for the year. We're excited to tip off. We've got some really good games slated, and a lot of teams in the non-con that will actually, kind of mimic some of the teams within our conference. So it should give us a really good base going into conference play in early December.
We'll open up for any questions, any of the players or a coach. No microphone, right? No microphone.
Coach, I'm interested in sort of a little bit of a turnover on the coaching staff. Looks like 4 new coaches. Could you just talk us through what those faces can bring, what you're hoping they bring to the team? And also kind of interested by AJ. Seems like she, what she can bring from the pedigree very recently at Iowa.
Yeah, and that's really kind of what we were searching for when we had some staff turnover. My longtime assistant or associate head coach, Stacy Cantley, she had been with us for 7 years, decided to move away from coaching. And so I knew immediately I needed to fill somebody with experience. And so we went and grabbed somebody from down the road, John Foffel, who had been the head coach at Cardinal Stritch for 13 seasons. He's actually been coaching for 35 years. So he brings a lot of experience to the staff, and I really needed that person that I could like rely on from like a, in close games, down the stretch type person. And then building the staff below that, I really wanted to find what I would call players coaches, people that could jump into practice, people who wanted to do individual workouts. Our roster is really a lot younger this year, and so I wanted to get people who wanted to be in the gym. And so bringing in Hannah Whitish, Lanice Williams, and AJ Ediger were all people that have played at a very high level. Hannah played at Nebraska. She had been Wisconsin Miss Basketball, actually, when she was here, and she just finished playing her 6th year overseas. So she's very competitive. She jumps into practice pretty much every day. And then Lanice had played at Memphis, but finished her graduate assistant at Cincinnati. And then you get down to AJ, who actually competed in 2 Final Fours, had the chance to play with Caitlin Clark, and she's really been very good for our post players, and has actually been one of the first kind of graduate assistants that we've had that really is voicing her opinion in the office. She sends a lot of really great notes. She's not afraid to talk about like how to improve our players from that position and our team as a whole. So it's been really nice to have some fresh voices and some people that can really help, kind of expand our players' games.
Yeah, so me and Callie Pepler went to in-state rival Green Bay. What was your initial reaction to finding out they were transferring to Green Bay, and what were your thoughts on that? Yeah,
it's a great question. For me, I think that, each person, when you're in this day and age with the transfer portal and, everything, when your season finishes, there's obviously opportunities for people to leave. And, Cammie was a huge part of our program for 3 years. I have a lot of respect for her family, and for the game and everything that she gave us for that time that she was here. She went into the portal very late, which was a little bit unfortunate. It was like 2 days before the portal closed. We thought we were, from everything I had known, we thought we were keeping her, for the long haul for her senior year. But, with that departure, gave us opportunity to kind of like reevaluate what do we need and what do we need out of that position. And we have some very capable players now within that spot that we're relying on. They're younger, but they're hungry. And we were able to kind of, not having a senior in that position, we were able to kind of like evaluate our system, and we were able to make a lot of system changes, which I think was really good for our program. I'm not sure all those changes would have been made if Cammie would have still been here as our point guard. So they were changes that needed to happen within our program, but we probably wouldn't have made them for another year based off of having a senior kind of leader in Cammie. So it just kind of elevated it a little bit faster, and I really like the direction that our offense is taking off in, and we're getting a lot more aggressive on the defensive side because of it too.
Kyle and Peyton, certainly parents coach kids all the time in sports, rarely at this level. What have you guys learned about working together that maybe you didn't know when you were just mom and daughter?
Do you want me to
Peyton, go first.
Oh, Peyton, go first.
I don't know. It was an adjustment at first, for sure. Just having that boundary of mom versus coach. It's getting to see your mom every day down at college, which not a lot of people get to do. But it's also very different seeing her as mom and seeing her as coach. And I think she's a great coach. I think I love playing for her. So I don't know. I really enjoy it. So, yeah.
I think I'm very lucky in that Peyton is as mature as she is. I think that makes it a little bit easier. She's always kind of been that person from a mature standpoint. And I do coach her very hard, just like I coach Grace very hard. I don't feel like there's a difference between how I coach. When Peyton is here on campus, I'm coach. I'm not mom. And there's been times that she's had to walk in and we have code words like I need you to be mom for a second, because I won't turn the coaching hat off unless she really needs me to. We try to do dinner once every couple weeks where I get to be mom. But she was voted by her teammates as a leader because I think that she there's this really good balance of she doesn't share things that don't need to be shared, and I don't ask things that I don't need to not know. So I think it's been really easy in that sense. And when you have a daughter who plays as hard as she does and goes to class, gets good grades, is a good person, it makes it a lot easier.
Do you ask basketball questions at home? Coach questions at home and home questions on campus ever?
I really never see her at home. She doesn't come home often. She loves it here at Milwaukee. I think a lot of our student athletes do. It's kind of interesting. A lot of the close student athletes, the people who come from close, they don't go home very often. And we try to sell that even in the recruiting process. Like, you can be close and you can go home for a dinner if you want, but typically our student athletes don't. So I don't actually get to see her at home very much. She stays here on campus and loves being here at campus. But we try not to talk about basketball when we do get our, dinners and date nights. We try to keep it strictly what's going on in our lives outside of it.
So Grace is the lone senior on the team. Have you kind of embraced this year in terms of a leadership perspective? And then Kyle, on top of that, how much do you kind of lean on Grace to be that leader on the team?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't really feel like it with a really supportive leadership team like Peyton and then Jada Williams and Jory Bualda. I don't really feel like I am by myself when it comes to being a leader, but I feel like at first a lot of the freshmen would come to me and ask me some silly questions and then also serious ones where at first I would just go to the coaches and ask, and then that's really what it felt like. But I mean, from an experience point, there's only a few of us who have played at this higher level because there are a lot of transfers or just JUCO transfers. So like I said, it doesn't really feel like it because I have a lot of support from Peyton, Jada, and Jory.
Grace and Peyton are very similar in that sense of just their maturity levels and the balance between the dynamic with the team and how to then approach it with me. I'm very lucky to have these two sitting up here with me and being leaders on our team. And Grace comes from an incredible family where she was really kind of grew up the right way, I should say. Like her parents, taught her how to be accountable and, the honesty and all that. So it's kind of an easy, her and I get along exceptionally well. I'm happy for her as a senior, but I know at the end of this year it's going to be really hard for me to lose somebody like Grace because she brings it every single day in every aspect, and she wants to be her best all the time.
So Grace, is it kind of unique having players turn to you now where a year ago you were the newbie here at Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think being the newbie last year made it a little bit easier this year because I understand it might be a little scary asking questions, especially being a transfer. As a freshman, there was kind of those group of freshmen. They're able to kind of support each other. But at my house, I live with Jory and Michaela. Michaela's a transfer, so I was really open with her. I was like, just come and ask me anything. I was in your shoes, especially coming from not even from a D1 to a D1. She was a JUCO to a D1. I was a D2 to a D1. So I feel like I can be a little bit more understanding and kind of answer those questions, and even just it's like a whole new atmosphere. It's awesome. It's a great facility. I love coming here. I love coming to get extra workouts in. So I always told Michaela or Rita, I was really close with them when they first got here because I was in your shoes, so I understand where you're at.
Just curious, Peyton, your confidence level, where's it at this moment? You missed a couple of years with injury, going back to the prep days. You finally get on the court for a full season last year. Where's it at now going into this year, redshirt sophomore year?
Honestly, I think it's pretty high right now. I have a great group of coaches who have been working with me, watching film, doing workouts, and I think I'm a lot stronger now than I have been in the past. And I think that just with the team that we have and the way that we're playing, I think I just have a lot of confidence going into the season. So I'm excited.
For the players, when you hear the coaches talk about kind of the culture and wanting to be tougher and more gritty on the court, how have you seen that play out so far in the preseason exhibitions and practice and all that?
Grace, you go first.
It started in the weight room for sure. This going into the spring season and then now with the whole new team here, it was a complete change. It was we started lifting a lot more, a lot heavier, a lot more consistent, which I like. I liked it a lot. And then yeah, that was the main thing for me. It was a lot of the drills. It's come down to grit, hustling, diving on the floor. And then like Coach said, we have a great coaching staff that are able to hop into drills like AJ. Like, she's never going to take it easy on you. She's going to get that rebound over you, so you just got to push back. And then Hannah is just so explosive, so she's never not going to blow by you. Like, none of them take it easy on us, which it's definitely making us better.
Yeah, and I think this year we're focusing a lot on having like that dog mentality, and we're kind of taking that in as a group. And I think just having mutual respect for each other, like on and off the court, really helps, because we can kind of go at each other in practice if we need to, and like maybe say some things that need to be said, but we're gonna have fun and we're gonna be great teammates afterwards. So yeah.
You guys talked about it, or you talked about it earlier, how you were in a lot of close games last year, but like 4 overtime games that you didn't win. How is there anything you saw in the off season looking back that you can change to finish out those games instead of falling late?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot more of just learning how to play, and not be so reliant on the actual like offensive play. We're learning how to like play with each other. And last year we did a lot of, we felt like when we lost a couple of those close games right at the very beginning, we had 2 of those overtime games in the first 3 games of our season to very good opponents. We started playing not to lose instead of playing to win. So there are times that we now in practice, I'm going to be honest with you, while we're playing to win, it might be a bad shot. Like, there's been times we've taken a shot that I'm like, we want to hold for last shot, but I'm trying to hold back and just let them learn how to play. And it's been nice to see some of the energy. We were in a scrimmage, to be honest with you, the other day, and we were down, or it was the exhibition game. We were down by, I think it was 8 with about 2 minutes to go, and we come down. We hit a 3. We get a stop. We hit a 3. We had to foul at that point. They hit 2 free throws, and then we came down and got a layup attack. So it was just without any bench calls, and they were just playing. So that's been an adjustment for sure. We've been trying not to coach them as much at end of games and let them play through some of that kind of stuff. And with some of the leadership that we have, that's been a little bit easier, because we have some people who have scoring mindsets. Peyton's really turned into a great scorer for us this year. She's looking to score a lot more. Grace has a scoring mindset. Jory has a scoring mindset. And Sophia Rampula has really kind of stepped up her game and has worked her way into the starting lineup for us and brings us some size on that wing. She plays a lot more like Kendall Need did, and she's gotten bigger, faster, stronger. So that'll help us too.
Any other questions for Coach or the players?
Yeah, you talked about it earlier with Cammie's departure, like how that kind of reshaped how you guys play and your style. What is your style going into this year? Like, what do you project it as?
Yeah, so we did a lot more ball screen offense in the past, where Cammie was kind of the initiator of the offense, and now we're doing a lot more pass and movement. I don't want to get into it too much, because I don't want our opponents necessarily know exactly what we're running, but it's a very different kind of like philosophy on how to get the ball entered, and it's been really good. Our team has really bought into it. They've picked it up very well. We're getting a lot more like cut action and screen action towards the glass, towards the middle of the paint, which is really helping some of our like bigger scoring guards, Grace and Peyton in particular, get some easier looks. I felt like a lot of our stuff was manufactured last year versus it coming off of just like quick, screen action plays where somebody's cutting the basket and just gets like a layup. We're getting a lot more of those opportunities. Plus with the shooters that we have, it really opens up the court to be able for us to get some of those like attacks to the rim. Not as much, some of it's off the dribble, but a lot more of it's off the pass.
Any other questions?
I got one for the players. What are you guys most looking forward to this season? And are there any games? I know you're supposed to take the games one at a time, but are there any games circled on the schedule that you're kind of looking forward to?
I'm just really looking forward to, playing the season with this team. I really like this team and the people that we have and our coaching staff, and like getting to travel with everyone, and just playing in a different style, and I just really enjoy spending time with them. So I think it'll be really fun to play out this season. I mean, the goal is to obviously win every game that we have, but even if we don't, I feel like I have a strong support system around me, and it's going to be a great season. And I don't know about games. I'm not totally sure. But I'm excited to see where our conference is at, and we don't really know what anyone's going to look like, and I think that's kind of exciting because nobody knows what we're going to look like either. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Peyton said it really well. I think kind of just going game by game, this is my last year, so I'm very excited. I'm trying to just take it all in. My life's going to be a little bit different in the next 2-3 years, but that's why I'm just trying to enjoy every moment. For any specific games, I got 2 siblings that live out in California, so I'm excited to go for it's like our turkey tournament. I don't know, turkey tip off. I'm excited for that just because I got family out there, so that'll be exciting for them to be able to come watch.
I'm excited for Loyola.
Yes.
I'm just excited for a game. Let's play somebody. Let's do it. First home game.
First.
Make sure you're there, 6 o'clock on next Monday.